Today, we're looking at the one witness that's present at every crime scene, the body itself. It tells a story without ever saying a word, and we're about to find out how to read it.
So, what secrets can a body reveal after death? Well, the short answer is a whole lot. It becomes the key witness, really, offering up this silent testimony about its final moments. So let's start digging into the evidence.
You see, the moment life stops, it's like a biological stopwatch starts. A whole cascade of predictable physical and chemical changes gets underway. And for a forensic investigator, these changes aren't just decay, they're like chapters in a book, each one giving clues about the time of death, how the body was positioned, and sometimes even the cause. Now, the first part of this story, it unfolds really, really fast. Within just a few hours, the body starts offering up its first most immediate clues about what's called the post-mortem interval, which is just the technical term for how much time has passed since death. Okay, first up is something called algor mortis. It's really just a fancy way of saying the body cools down. I mean, it makes sense, right? The body's internal furnace shuts off and it starts to lose heat until it eventually matches the temperature of whatever's around it. This is literally the first tick of that post-mortem clock. Next, we've got livor mortis. So when the heart stops pumping blood around, gravity just takes over. Blood is heavy, so it starts to pool in whatever part of the body is lowest. This creates a really distinct purplish stain. So if you see that stain on someone's back, they were probably lying face up. If it's on their front, they were face down. It's a dead giveaway for the body's position after death. And then, of course, there's the one you've probably heard of, rigor mortis. But what's really going on here is fascinating. Think of your muscles as running on these tiny energy batteries called ATP. ATP is what lets your muscles relax. Well, after death, your body stops making ATP, but the muscles keep using up what's left. When those batteries finally run out, the muscle fibers lock up, and that's what causes that famous stiffness. But here's where the real skill comes in. An investigator has to read all of these signs together. As you can see on this timeline, they all overlap. Livor mortis starts within a few hours and then becomes fixed around the 8-hour mark. That means if you move the body, the stain won't shift. All the while, rigor mortis is setting in, hitting its peak at about 12 hours. By seeing where the body is in each of these stages, investigators can really start to zero in on the time of death.
And this is absolutely critical. An investigator has to be able to tell the difference between a natural change after death and a bruise from an injury before death. In the early stages of livor mortis, if you press on the stain, it'll turn white for a second because the blood is just sitting in the capillaries. But a bruise won't do that. The blood there has already leaked out into the tissue. It's such a simple test, but the implications are huge.
Okay, so after those initial changes fade, a much more, dramatic process begins. The body's own internal ecosystem basically starts to reclaim everything. It's a process called putrefaction. Yeah, you heard that right. The main drivers of decomposition are already inside all of us, right now. The bacteria in our gut, which are so important for us when we're alive, they become the agents of our breakdown after we die. Without our immune system keeping them in check, they just multiply and start digesting the body from the inside out. And this internal process leaves some very clear signs on the outside. It usually starts with a greenish color on the lower right part of the abdomen, where there is a ton of bacteria. Then, as those bacteria spread through the blood vessels, they create this eerie, marbled pattern on the skin. And as they do their work, they produce an enormous amount of gas. And these are the culprits. It's a powerful chemical cocktail, to say the least. Hydrogen sulfide, for example, is what creates that infamous rotten egg smell we associate with decomposition. Methane is another big one. All this internal gas production is what leads to the most drastic changes in how the body looks. The pressure from these gases can be incredible. It causes the body to bloat, which can distort the person's features, and it can even cause the outer layers of skin on the hands and feet to slip off, a process that's grimly called degloving. This pressure can also force fluids out of the body, which someone inexperienced might mistake for an injury that happened before death. But hang on. Putrefaction isn't the only path. The environment plays a massive role in this story, and depending on the conditions, the ending can be completely different. And this is where things get really wild. The right environment can basically hit the pause button on decomposition. In cold, wet places, the body's fats can go through a chemical change, turning into this waxy, soap-like stuff called adipocere, or grave wax. It literally preserves the body and any injuries on it.
But in a hot, dry climate, the total opposite happens. The body mummifies, which also stops bacterial decay and preserves a ton of crucial evidence. So, the investigator has a timeline from the body's internal clock. But to get the full story, they need to read the final scene. They need to look for external evidence that adds that all-important context. Because the story isn't just about when someone died, it's also about how. External things like fire or electricity leave their own unique signatures on the body, and this provides a whole other layer of information for experts to analyze.
Take fire, for example. Look at what this table shows us. If an investigator finds soot in the windpipe, it proves the person was breathing in smoke. They were alive when the fire started. If they see a cherry red color in the blood, that points to carbon monoxide poisoning as the actual cause of death. These aren't just minor details. They can be the difference between ruling a death an accident, a homicide, or an attempt to cover up another crime.
Electricity leaves a similarly complex trail. Investigators will look for the entry and exit burns to trace the path the current took through the body. That path is what determines how severe the internal damage is. It's another intricate piece of the puzzle that helps reconstruct a person's final moments.
So when you put it all together, what it all comes down to is this. A body is never just a body. It's a complex, detailed chronicle. From the way the skin cools, to the bacterial takeover, to the marks left by the outside world, every single sign is a word, a sentence, and a story that forensics gives a voice.
And that really makes you wonder, doesn't it? This science is always evolving. As our ability to read these biological signals gets better and better, what seems like an unsolvable mystery today might be an open and shut case tomorrow. The body of evidence? Well, it still has so many more secrets to tell.